Hi everyone. So this is Dr. Syed Altaf Hussain, a professor of mechanical engineering at the College of Engineering and Technology, Nandyal, Andhra Pradesh. So today I wanted to give demonstration on how to prepare the sample for microscopic examination. So here one question comes into our mind: what is the necessity of observing the microstructure of a material? Generally, all our engineering materials, if they are ferrous materials or its alloys, or non-ferrous material, its alloys, so all are polycrystalline materials. Polycrystalline materials means many crystals. If you see the microstructure in it, you can find a number of crystals. Generally, that mechanical properties, or you can say that behavior of the material, mechanical behavior of the material, it purely depends upon crystal structure and its grain size and chemical composition of the material. So here in this laboratory, I wanted to show you how to prepare a sample for microscopic examination. For microscopic examination, what we have to do is we have to prepare a sample. Suppose if you have a bulk material, that bulk material cannot be handled and it could not be placed under a microscope. So that's why what we have to do is from that bulk material, so we have to cut out a sample of smaller size. So this is called a sample, and this is a sample having the similar properties as that of its base material, right? And the sample is very short, and we had to do it subsequent operations, right? So we could not handle the sample in our hand. So that's why, so we have to embed this material, this sample, on a matrix material. Okay? So for mounting this specimen on a matrix material, we have to make use of a specimen mounting press. So this is a specific mounting press, right? So it consists of an hydraulic jack and a ram, and here we have a cavity. So this cavity is surrounded by some electric heater. So here what we have to do is, so there is a marker in that cavity. To that level, so we have to pour this bakelite powder, right? We have to raise this ram. At the middle of the ram, we have to place our metallic sample. Then afterwards, so we have to place our bakelite powder. Then afterwards, we have to compact this by this upper ram as well as by this lowering ram. Okay, by levering this hydraulic jack, we can compress that metallic powder. Then afterwards, we have to give this electric supply for about 10 minutes, right? So then now and then, what we have to do is we have to do some additional compression. So because it is a bakelite powder, it is a thermosetting polymer. Right, what will happen because of the application of the heat, it will be fused, right, it will be melted. So now and then what we have to do is at every 20 seconds, 30 seconds, we have to press the sample. Okay, so once this time is over, then we have to allow the material to cool. Then afterwards, we have to take out our sample. So from this machine, so after mounting the specimen on a bakelite material, our specimen look like this. See, at the middle of this matrix material, we have our metallic specimen, metallic sample. Now it is very handy. Now we can do another subsequent operations on it. Okay. So here we have polishing sand. So before going to this polishing sand, what we have to do is we have to polish on a belt polisher. We have to do polishing on a belt polisher. Well, because the surface will be very rough, that's why we have to do initial polishing on this belt polisher. Then afterwards, we have to take it to polishing stand. So this is the polishing stand. So here we can have varieties of grades of emery papers, or we can say sandpapers. So over the sandpapers, we have to go for rubbing. So in the first paper, initially the first paper that grade is very low. The grade means the number of grain per square area, right? If the number of grains square area is very less, we can say that is a coarse paper, sand memory paper, right? If the number of grains are more per unit area, we can say that memory paper is very soft or very smooth. Okay. First we have to do polishing on the first paper. Say we are giving some forward stroke. We can say we have to use this vertical stroke. So when we are going for this subsequent memory paper, so you have to reverse the direction of stroke. So why? Because so in this previous stage we are going to have vertical scratches on our sample. When we are moving to the second stage, right, we have to go for horizontal stroke. So that will be nullified. Then when we are going for the third stage, once again we have to go for vertical stroke. Then on the subsequent stage we have to go for horizontal stroke. Okay. So this we have to perform until your surface is prepared like a mirror-like finish. Then afterwards we have to take the sample and a disc polisher. So here we have one rotating disc. Over this we have a velvet cloth. On this velvet cloth, what we are doing is we are sprinkling one abrasive powder, that aluminum oxide. Okay. Then we are sprinkling some water particles on it. Then we are pressing our sample against to this rotating disc. Okay. This polishing we have to perform first with aluminum oxide powder, and then afterwards we are applying this diamond paste. Okay. So with this we have to perform this final stage of polishing. Then after doing this disc polishing, this the surface of the specimen look like a mirror finish. Okay. So now our specimen is partially ready for microscopic examination. Then afterwards, after doing this polishing operation, we have to wash this specimen under stream of water. Under stream of water we have to wash it. Then afterwards, so we have to apply etching agents. We have to apply etching agent on the sample. So etching agents means they are the chemical agents. The chemical agents we have to apply on the sample. So what the purpose of etching is, see, our materials are polycrystalline materials, right? And there is a line separating two adjacent crystals, that is called a grain boundary, right? So before etching the specimen, if you see the microstructure, see, we could not differentiate different phases at different grains. We could not differentiate. So that's why this etching is essential. Okay. So by applying this chemical agent on the surface, we have to leave it for 30 seconds. Then afterwards, we have to wipe out that chemical and we have to wash it under stream of water. Then we have to dry it. So what will happen? Meanwhile, that chemical agent, it is going to settle in the grain boundary. It is going to settle in the grain boundary, and so that when you observe this specimen under a microscope, we can clearly distinguish different grains. So that is the purpose of etching. Then afterwards, after etching the sample, we have to take the sample under a microscope. We have to take the sample under a microscope. And then we have to focus it. So after focusing this sample under a microscope, so on this monitor, if it is a computerized metallurgical microscope, so on this monitor we can find these grains. So different phases present in the material clearly seen, right? So by identifying the phases present in the microstructure, we can assess the property of the material, right? We can assess the property of the material. See, for the example's sake, under this microscope, we have placed a spheroidal graphite cast iron. We can say it is a SG cast iron, right? So here this graphite is present in the form of nodules. Right? So that's why here the graphite is present in the form of a nodule. That's why this cast iron is very soft in nature. Very soft in nature, it means it is having a very high ductility as well as very good machinability. So like this, by observing the microstructure of the material, we can assess the properties. We can assess the property of the material. See, roughly what we can say is this microscopic examination, observing the material, observing the microstructure of the material, we can assess the properties. So it is a kind of non-destructive testing. It is a kind of non-destructive testing. Even we can assess the property of the material by applying some mechanical loads. By damaging the material also we can assess the properties. That's why those tests we are referring them as destructive testing methods. So we have in our material science we have tension test, hardness test, impact test, and fatigue test, creep test, so on. So in all this mechanical test, what we are doing is we are damaging the material, we are breaking the material, and then we will be finding the mechanical properties. Right? So ultimately, our material science is the science of studying the microstructures, crystals, crystal properties, and mechanical properties of the material. Okay? So in our laboratory, material science laboratory, we have facilities to observe the microstructures of different materials. If the material is a pure material or allied material, allied material maybe we can say plain carbon steels and high alloy steels like high speed steels, cool steels, stainless steels. Even we can see the microstructures of non-ferrous metals like copper, aluminum, zinc, brass, bronze, right? All those problem materials microstructure can be observed in our laboratory after preparing the sample for microscopic examination.